Welcome to the Meaning Method YouTube channel. I'm Emily Tamayo-Maher, author of The Meaning Method. And on this channel, we talk about how to write a great manuscript, how to successfully publish it, and how to grow your audience so that your writing dream becomes your writing career. And today I want to talk about a fabulous example of a very successful writing career, Brene Brown. I just finished reading her book, Rising Strong, and in it, she talks about her own publishing path from self-publishing to traditional publishing to the TED Talk and beyond. And there are so many times when I want to talk about the ins and outs of self-publishing and traditional publishing. And really, when I read her book, I found there's no better example of both the challenges and the possibilities. Brene Brown has had such a successful publishing career. Whenever someone interviews her on their podcast, that podcast gets so many downloads, so many listens. Even when I post one of her quotes on my own Instagram, I notice my engagement go way up. And so she is a woman that has a message that has really moved the masses. And there were a lot of challenges along the way. So in her book, Rising Strong, I want to read two quotes from it, actually. One to begin, because when she talks about her publishing path, she's using it as an example of hope and the way she defines hope in the book. So first, let me read this quote about how she defines hope. Hope is not an emotion. This is quoting Brene Brown. Hope is not an emotion. It's a cognitive process, a thought process made up of what researcher C.R. Snyder called a trilogy of goals, pathways, and agency. Hope happens when we can set goals, have the tenacity and perseverance to pursue those goals, and believe in our ability to act. So I love that. Pathways, goals, and agency. Hope is really the gap between the goal and our belief that we can achieve that goal through action. And so I was so moved by this. She uses her experience in publishing in order to illustrate how hope works. And there was a lot of hope moving her through. So I want to recount a little bit of it. You can read about the whole journey in detail in her book, Rising Strong. She goes into, she tells it beautifully. That's another profound reason behind her success is her ability with storytelling. But I want to share a little bit here because I feel that for people who watch this YouTube channel, it really answers questions that I can give a lot of data on, but the story will show you exactly how it can go. And so Brene Brown finished her first book in 2002. She went to conferences, she sent out queries to agents and got rejection after rejection. And this is a woman with a message. This is a woman who will go on to publish books that move so many people. And so just that first note is that if you're going through the publishing process, if you're entering in for the first time and you're not getting a lot of traction, don't take it personally. This doesn't mean your book isn't wonderful. This doesn't mean that your sole purpose is not to dig in and really move people with your words. So she experienced a lot of that rejection, and then she went on to self-publish in 2004, and she was in academic circles. Sometimes people ask me if I self-publish, then no traditional publisher will ever be interested in my book. This is not true. Brene Brown, Marie Forleo, Mel Robbins, Wayne Dyer. There are so many examples. Deepak Chopra, all of these authors, especially in personal development, self-published, proved their product, and then went on to get traditional publishers. So she did self-publish in 2004, and because she was doing speaking gigs, because she knew who her audience was, she started selling it. And this is how I think so many of us can feel. I love this part of the story. She more and more people are reading her book. It's becoming more popular among health professionals. And one of her colleagues at the university where she worked said, "Your book is wonderful. I want to put it on my syllabus. Who's the publisher? Where can I order it?" And then she said to him, "Well, I self-published it, so I can get you those copies." And then he said to her, "I cannot put a vanity published book on my syllabus." So that happened to Brene Brown. I find that very moving because we can feel strange choosing ourselves and moving ourselves forward in our own career. We're not alone. We have to get through these hurdles. So she kept on keeping on with her self-publishing. She kept selling books. She sold, I imagine, hundreds of books, probably through self-publishing, possibly thousands of books. And eventually she met a role model who hooked her up with her own agent, and she got a traditional contract. So she was chosen. She was excited, and she got this traditional contract. And on publishing day, she was ready to go out for the interviews, for all the excitement of pub day and a book tour. However, she hadn't arranged anything. So the publishing day came, nobody called, nothing happened. And whereas before, when she self-published, she'd been moving and grooving, she'd been doing her own book, she'd been selling her own book, and she knew how to sell books. When she counted on the traditional publisher to sell the book for her, this was the reason that I believe this story was put in Composting Regret. Nothing happened. And the book sat in the warehouse eventually. And this is really where the story gets very good in Rising Strong. They composted the book in the warehouse. It wasn't moving, it wasn't selling. So Brene Brown's first book that was published through a traditional publisher ended up getting shred. That's what composting means. When they're not moving units, they need the space in the warehouse, they need the space in the bookstores. And so they just recycle all of that paper, and it doesn't get sold. This can happen in traditional publishing. It doesn't automatically mean that you will sell a lot of books. And so this is where she talks about how she really looked back on that experience and composted regret. In her words, composted regret. She looked back. What could she learn from this? What would she do differently? And this is where I have to read the second quote that she shares. "I swore," Brene Brown, "I swore that if I ever had the opportunity to publish a book again, I'd do it differently. I wasn't going to get dressed up in my outfit and wait for someone to knock on my door and ask me about my work. I'd put on my boots and I'd start knocking on doors myself." She doesn't use the word boots. She uses a more decorative term, but I'll get censored if I do that. So I really want this message to get out. So you'll have to buy the book, Rising Strong, if you want to find out the word she uses. But I think this is really why I was so excited to share this with the audience. I've been talking about this story with individual clients, but I really want to move it along for all of us who are on a publishing path, on a book writing journey, because there are challenges. If you are finding this challenging, you're not alone. But then if you think of the things that happened that after that, she had a TED Talk that went viral. Now she's had several best-selling books. Daring Greatly is a record-breaking book in its category. And so there are so many challenges, and yet there is so much possibility. And the takeaway I really took from Rising Strong was choose yourself. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but no matter where you choose to go with your book, choose yourself on a daily basis. Get into writing. Love the writing process. Get a nice, if you're stuck, get some writing prompts. I have writing prompts below that you can use to get yourself back in the groove. Get a romantic cappuccino, light a candle, and have fun with this. And then when it comes time to publish, again, choose yourself. Don't look for someone to validate your work. Choose yourself and get it out there, because people need you and people need your voice. So thank you so much for listening to this YouTube channel. I put out a new class, a new motivational video every single Friday. So you take some time on the weekend to move forward with your book. And as a special treat down below, I'm going to have the link to Rising Strong so you can read that inspirational story. In addition to her publishing story, there is so much great, valuable information on storytelling and also resilience. The central message of the book is resilience, which is essential for any publishing path. So the link to that book will be below. And then also I put the Writing and Yoga Staycation. This is a 7-day writing retreat you can do in your own home. And it gives you kind of an overview of what a publishing journey can look like. It also has writing prompts, so you write this weekend. So I've gone on a little bit long in this video. I'm just really excited about the possibilities. So take some time to write this weekend, and I'll see you next week. So much love.